Hello, Commanders, and welcome back to Tadowski's Shelter. One of the most important things new bases will gain access to in order to make their APCs way more powerful is the parts factory. You will gain access to the facility around base level 17, 18, and it will allow players to add specific parts to their APCs to make them faster, stronger, and overall better. But for new players, how do you go about it? What part should you focus on? What level should you focus on? How can you make it faster? And a ton of other questions will start to be addressed in this video segment. I know I've been saying I was going to start this video for a long time, and here we are. The parts factory will take a lot of work and explanation, so today we are just going to focus on the introduction and some basics, and then the next video I can go into more specific details and strategies and tactics. Please like and subscribe to the channel if you enjoy the content, and try to catch a live when you can. We do live Q&As as well as talk about the latest topics and events in Last Shelter. We talked briefly about the APC in the video tagged above, so if you need the basics about the APC, please go watch this video. But for those of you comfortable with the starter level information, let's progress into the APC parts. APC parts are a huge part of making your APC so much stronger than your opponents. As you get deeper into the game, more ways to upgrade these parts will be shown to you, as well as different parts you can add to the APC to turn it into a massive beast of a unit. But for now, you only have the parts factory, some energy refining factories, and a new technology tree that looks extremely long. So let's take this bit by bit and break things down as best as possible to discuss what different things can do. Let's start the discussion with the parts factory. The parts factory is the most basic way to start making the parts that you will add to your APC to strengthen it. You will do this by making components that will be added together to make a part. There are primarily 6 types of vehicles that components could be made for, but we're only going to focus on 4 of them, as they will be the most useful for the longer period of time. The 4 main types of vehicles are the Trailblazer, the Phantom, the Ranger, and the Dreadnought. With the exception of the Trailblazer, the other 3 will be geared for a specific troop type. The Phantom will primarily focus on vehicles, the Ranger for shooters, and the Dreadnought for fighters. Now, the Trailblazer improves the gathering features and isn't really suggested for combat use. Each of your 4 APCs can hold 6 different pieces of equipment or parts, but only 1 part of each specific type. There are 6 types of APC parts. There are suspension, engine, tire, gun, control system, and armor. Every APC can hold 1 of each. Besides the type of vehicle, the other factor you can place in your APC is the quality of the part. And there are 6 different quality levels ranging from basic to legendary. In order to build a part, you will need to have enough of the required components to make it. For example, the Phantom tire requires 2 high-density rubber, 1 super glue, and 1 screw. You simply make these components in the material section of the parts factory, or can obtain them from fighting hoarder zombies. Once you have all the required components, you will go to the craft menu, click Phantom, tire, and then craft to make a basic part. In order to create the part, you will need to spend energy cores. Now, energy cores will be obtained from zombie fights, the commercial hub, or making them in the energy refining factory by using cash to turn them into energy cores. The amount of cores needed to make a specific part will vary depending on the quality of the part. Now, to increase the quality of the part, you simply make more of that type of component and then combine the lesser components in the depot menu. For every 4 component parts of a specific quality level, you can create 1 of the next quality. So 4 common screws, the green color, can be combined to make 1 rare quality screw, the blue color. And 4 rare quality screws, the blue color, can be combined to make 1 epic screw, but the purple color. Increasing the quality of the material will increase the quality of the part when it is made. The increased quality part will provide the APC with more buffs in the specific areas dictated by that part. As you increase the quality, the buffs will drastically get better. So waiting to get a higher quality part is sometimes more beneficial than installing a part immediately off the bat. It just depends on your gameplay. This is the most basic explanation of the parts factory and how to make parts for your APC. You can combine any combination of parts into one APC. But if all of the parts are the same type, for example, they're all Phantom, they're all Ranger, they're all Dreadnought, you will get additional buffs on top of the part buffs. This is why it's beneficial to have APCs of all the same troop type at this stage of the game. You gain stronger APCs by having the same troop type because you are keeping the parts together that are focused on only one troop type. Now, the primary way to obtain energy cores is by using the energy core refining factory to turn cash into the glowy blue boxes. The higher the level of the factory, the more cores you can produce and the faster you can produce them. To maximize both, you will want to upgrade the parts technology tree, which we will discuss shortly. Making energy cores will cost a good chunk of cash, so make sure that it will not hinder the overall growth before you use it to make your cores. It's more important to reach base 25 than it is to have parts in your APC. The last thing to discuss when it comes to the basics of the parts factory is the parts production technology tree. In your institute, after you build the parts factory, you should be able to see the parts production tree. The parts production tree will be very useful for players to improve major aspects of the parts factory so they can create higher quality parts faster and cheaper. You will also get more return for your parts if you decide to break them down to get components back, which is something we will discuss later on. If you scroll down the skill tree, you'll notice that every level of tech upgrade will require energy cores. So it is important to note that you will need to make energy cores in order to upgrade the technology for it. So a word of advice, do not ignore this skill tree or making energy cores. This tree is huge for players to obtain legendary parts in a reasonable amount of time. The technology tree will unlock things like more energy core refining plants. This will increase the amount of cores they make and how fast they can make them. It can also decrease the time it takes to make a component and how long it takes to make a part. It can also decrease the energy core cost to make a higher quality part. It can also return energy cores when you break down any parts and can also allow you to break down components to gain energy cores. This technology is vital to making higher quality parts as it will make the process of doing so cheaper and faster. Do not ignore this skill tree until the end. In my opinion, this technology is just as important as making the parts themselves. You will drastically reduce the time it takes to make a higher quality part and will benefit you in the long run. And that is going to be the simplified breakdown of the parts factory. I know we didn't cover a lot of the questions that most people have, but I plan to make another video on this topic to talk about those type of questions. I don't want to make a too long video and bore everyone to death, as there is a lot of information one can discuss when it comes to the parts factory. But starting from the beginning and working our way up will be the way I want to approach it. So the next video on the topic will go into detail about how to make quality parts faster, when to gamble on higher quality parts, when to break down parts for higher quality parts, and so forth. We'll start to focus more on the tips and tactics that may or may not benefit your gameplay style and can open the floor for some discussion. So make sure you are leaving your questions about the parts factory in the comments below. That'll be the most important and most useful way I will be able to make the next video address most of your concerns. If I know what you're having the issues with or you have the questions about, I can address them appropriately and in more detail. And that's going to be it for now. Please like and subscribe if you enjoy the content. Look for those lives, leave comments. Let me know what's complicated about this for you. I know there is a lot. I'm not saying that to be facetious, but there is a lot that can be confusing about the parts factory, but it helps me help you more if I know beforehand what are the specific things that are hard for you. Make sure to keep learning, help each other out, look out for each other, and most importantly, stay safe out there.